A VP of marketing recently shared with me in a one-on-one strategic coaching session where we were discussing AI opportunities that she could create, that she could capture, and the role that mindset plays to first see those opportunities and then to second, go out and actually take action to capture those opportunities. Now, this VP of marketing was excited. She was energized about the potential of integrating AI into her marketing systems, into her processes. But there was just one little problem. She shared with me a story that she had recently experienced about how her CEO, in a company-wide meeting with hundreds of team members, shared his own personal fears about AI. Now, this story, it sent chills down my spine because I knew this CEO, and most likely unknowingly, just they set their financial brand back a decade, if not more, by simply sharing their perspective, their fears about AI in such a large and public format during a company-wide meeting. Now, I understand why this CEO fears AI. It's simply a matter of perspective. And perspective equals the sum of two things. Perspective is context and framing. And for this CEO, his perspective of AI had been derived from his consumption of media. And I know this because I've talked to other CEOs just like this one who during strategic coaching sessions, they were talking about the subject of AI. That subject has come up. They've asked me, what are my thoughts? And I said, well, I don't want to tell you my thoughts just yet. What are your thoughts first? What are your thoughts on things like Chat GPT? And I was surprised. I am surprised to find that even right now, many do not have a positive perspective of Chat GPT because they've told me, what their perspective is. When I ask, what does it mean to you? What does Chat GPT mean to you? And they're like, well, Chat GPT is what kids use to cheat in school. So I ask them as a follow-up, what's helping to shape and form this perspective, to form this opinion, to form this belief that you have about AI and Chat GPT? And the answers from different CEOs typically are all the same. It all comes back to the news media that they are watching, reading, and consuming. What I'm observing right now is like a 1994 moment all over again, because it was in 1994, which is we're 30 years past that point in time, the internet reached the mass consciousness of humanity. And I want to share a video. I want to share a video from YouTube for context of what the world was like and how the internet was being perceived in 1994 with a clip from the Today Show. It's ironic that almost 30 years later to hear Katie Couric's thoughts that she has no desire to be part of the internet because she is so inundated with information at the time. If Katie only knew. And the reason I like to share this clip during keynotes and workshops and coaching conversations with financial brand leaders is because how quickly we forget. I have a hypothesis that how old you were in 1994 directly impacts and influences how you perceive the world today in the age of AI. So when you hear the discussion on the Today Show about the internet, they could just as easily be talking about AI like right now, because back then they were talking about the internet with a perspective that was confused. They felt concerned. They felt even a little frustration. And the same is true right now with the conversations, many conversations happening today about AI in the age of AI. And so once again, we can learn from history. There was a 19th century German philosopher. His name was Arthur Schopenhauer. And Schopenhauer wrote, and I'm going to quote him, he said, "All truth passes through three stages. First, it is ridiculed. Truth, that is. Second, it is violently opposed. And third, it is accepted as self-evident." Think about this for a moment. When the internet first reached the mass consciousness of humanity, what was happening? The Today Show speaks to it. It was being ridiculed. Perhaps there was even some violent opposition in board and executive meetings at your financial brand about the internet going back to the mid to late 90s. But now look at where we are today. The truth, if you will, the truth of the internet is self-evident, but how quickly we forget at how things were before and what has happened since that time. This is why education is so important for financial brand leaders specifically who are committed to maximizing their future growth potential, because it is through education that one finds a path to transform confusion in the present moment to clarity for the future.